Hey everybody, welcome to The Real Take. We're talking Solo, a Star Wars story in 300, 299, 298, 2... Are you kidding me? This is a 5-minute countdown. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For those unfamiliar, Solo takes place earlier in the Star Wars timeline than any other movie in the franchise. We get to see the beginnings of Han Solo, how he became the famous smuggler that we all got to know in A New Hope. We get to see how he met Chewbacca, how he learns to fly, how he started his friendship with Lando Calrissian. There are a number of things this film covers within the Star Wars universe, but I think the biggest question of all that fans and audiences want to know is actually more of a real-life based question. And that is, can you see Alden Ehrenreich as a young Han Solo and young Harrison Ford? And as much as I want to give you a clear-cut yes or no answer, it's just not that simple. But here's why. During filming, Disney had to hire a few extra acting coaches for Alden Ehrenreich. Why would they do that? Well, Disney didn't exactly release a statement on the matter. However, I can presume maybe that Alden wasn't portraying a young Harrison Ford the way they wanted to. Again, I don't know that as fact, but after watching the movie, I think that might be the case. And here's where it gets a bit funky. Those acting coaches, they didn't come in after week 1. This was roughly about halfway through filming. So for a portion of the film, you see Alden acting like good old Alden Ehrenreich. And then the other portion, he's mocking young Harrison Ford's hand gestures, his speech, even his hair looks a bit different. So we really see more a story of two Alden Ehrenreichs playing two different Han Solos, which gets very confusing. And we all know films are not shot in sequence, meaning the first few minutes of the film was not the first thing they shoot, and the last scene of a movie was not the last thing they shot, 99% of the time. So, why is that a problem? Well, these are just random scenes and random sequences that Alden is acting like Alden Ehrenreich, and then he's acting exactly like Harrison Ford. But in all fairness, I do think Alden did a good job for what he had to work with. I think it's more on Disney for changing up his acting technique halfway through. Also, you have to think about the fact that he's trying to fill Harrison Ford's shoes, so it's nearly impossible. There's always going to be critics out there, like myself, who are never going to be happy with exactly the way it was portrayed. So, trying to throw that aside, I think he did a good job for what he had to work with. Now, moving on to other actors, Lando Calrissian is played by Donald Glover. I really like Donald Glover. I like his music, I like his acting, I like most of his roles. I didn't like him in this. Here's why. He had an accent for part of it, and then the other part, it was gone. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but maybe not so much it was just completely gone and then there, but it was definitely stronger in some scenes than others. So again, acting threw me a little bit off. I don't want to blame it on Donald. I don't know if they told him, maybe Disney told him, you're not doing this right, change it up a little bit. Who knows who's to blame? All I know is it was a little freaky and it threw me off. Emilia Clarke is also in this movie. Some of you might know her as the Dragon Lady in another show. She's not that character here. But she does play a love interest of young Han Solo, and we get to learn a bit about their backstory. And as for her acting, I think she did a fantastic job. I think she kind of stole the show, actually, being the best actress in this movie, to be honest with you. A familiar face was Chewbacca. We got to see a bit of him in this movie, and he was loud and hairy like he always is. Let's see, who else? A bald guy. Woody Harrelson was in this movie. He was kind of a jerk. But he was one of those lovable jerks, you know, the kind that you want to give a hug one day and then punch him in the face the next. You know who else was in this movie? Jarvis. Well, not exactly Jarvis. He had some funky looking scars on his face, and his name was actually Paul Bettany. But he did a good job. He plays a villain, he's kind of a weirdo, and he's not in it that long, but he's good for what he does. Kind of feels like I'm rushing. Am I rushing? I think I'm rushing. Another familiar name from the Iron Man franchise is Jon Favreau. He plays a little animated character named Rio, and he was actually quite funny. I think he added quite a bit to the scenes he was in. But I have to mention something else before wrapping up. These side Star Wars films like Rogue One and Solo, yes, they have some familiarity with the characters. Yes, they have nostalgic feelings involved with them. However, to me, Star Wars has always been two things: lightsabers and the Force. You don't get either of those in either film. Now, is that a problem? I don't know. To me, it kind of is. To you, it might not be. To each their own. But I think for sure what you have to be is aware of what you're going to see. If you're looking for the same kind of feeling in the original ones, with the Force being used quite a bit and Jedi training and the lightsabers, it's not going to be there. To me, that was what made Star Wars so special to me as a kid, seeing that crazy stuff. You don't really get that here. You get a decent story, you get some decent acting, but it's just not the same. Final take, here it is. The movie was fun. If you're looking for a fantastic, blow-you-away Star Wars movie, this ain't it. But it was enjoyable, it was a fun ride, it was a cool adventure to be on with some of the familiar characters from the Star Wars franchise. Again, it didn't blow me away, but I didn't hate it, so it may be worth seeing for you.